You're the NSU coach, Mike McConathy, coach, Southern Conference Tournament time. You talk about building for March and building your depth and building the pieces. What you've done all year in that regard, how does that help you in a tournament time where you're going to need 4 in 4 days?
Well, I just think it's one of those things that you're constantly trying to get pieces ready to play. It's not a situation where you got, 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5. You've got 10, 11, or 12. Of course, we lost one this morning in practice, and it's unfortunate. And we have another one down. Hopefully, he'll be ready to go on Wednesday. But at the same time, you got to be ready. When somebody gets an opportunity, they got to step up and they got to take advantage of it. So, thinking about that, we have put people in every possible scenario we can. We've done a lot of different lineups, matchups, to where we should be ready for whatever is thrown at us. And just a great opportunity. We're playing against a really good McNeese team that is talented, and they've been successful 2 times against us. And situation to where we've got to be prepared. They're pressing the ball, getting the ball up and down the floor. A lot of defensive pressure, and they're doing a really good job with that. And we've got to make sure that we minimize our turnovers against their defense. And, I think we'll be prepared for it.
We talked a lot about it, but it feels like the backcourt, for the most part, recently has done a pretty good job of handling pressure and taking care of the ball. How does that translate to Wednesday?
Well, I think that, if we can get it in position where we need to do, we've made different adjustments to where we can get it to where it needs to go and attack, get it to the middle and make some good things happen. And guys on the receiving end being able to make shots on the other end before their defense gets set, or attack the bucket and go in to get an easy shot. So I think that our guard play has been, much better. We kind of stumbled a little bit on Saturday when Brian White went down and was out. For the most part, he was out the first 17 minutes of the first half, came back and played sparingly in the second half, but was not himself. And, you can't lose a guy of that magnitude against a really, really good team and overcome it. Southeastern, the number 2 seed. So, we just got to bounce back, and, hopefully he'll be ready to go.
He obviously didn't have that explosion in the second half that we're used to seeing, but it felt like when he was on the floor, he got you in your offense, and to do those things, he was on the floor when you made the big run at the early part of the second half to get back in that Southeastern game. Even if he doesn't have his explosion, how important is he just to the offense in general and getting people where they need to go?
Well, just getting people in place they need to be in, and distributing the ball and getting them from point A to B to C to D to E is very, very important. So, we definitely need him. He is a really good on-the-ball defender as well. And so because he's on a good ball defender, you can try to stay in front of it. That's one of our albatrosses. He's not a guy that gets beat a lot off the dribble. Some other guys struggle, but, that's something that we got to continue to improve on and work on.
Your front line guys, Kendall, 20 rebounds against Southeastern. That's the first time NSU player has done that since 2010. But, it's also things like outscoring Southeastern 18-8 in second chance points, winning the rebound battle. How has that front line been playing recently as you go into this tournament?
It's interesting because when you go back and you look at that game, we lost by 5, and if we'd have made a shot with 24 seconds, I think it would have been a 2-point game at that point. But when you look at that, the second chance points, you win. You out-rebound Southeastern, which, was a good thing. Your points off of turnovers were about the same. So that meant we created some problems as well. So, I think that was positive. I've seen a little bit of improvement in that area. We still got to get to where we get more points out of transition than we're getting. Because we scored 48% of the time out of transition. 48% of our transition attempts go in, so that's what we need to be doing.
And then, this team has obviously proven it can play with anybody in this league. Beat New Orleans last week, had Southeastern where you wanted them at certain times on Saturday. When you're talking about winning 4 in 4 days in this tournament, those are some of those same teams that you're going to be seeing again. What kind of momentum does this team have going in?
Well, I think it's important to talk about the path. I think it's important about with nothing more we wanted to win. But you're always looking at the seed and the matchup. That team is really good, but does that team match up with us? Or do we match up with them? And that's what you always have to look at. So many times people look at the 1s and the 2s and the 3s and the 4s. I always look at the matchups. And I would say that probably McNeese looks at our matchup as a favorable matchup for them. And there's some things about the matchup I like for us. But they've done a great he's done a great job. Coach Aiken's done a great job against us. And, we've got to pull a rabbit out of our hat to put ourselves in a position where we can compete and try to knock them off.
McNeese spreads that scoring out. They've got those some of those tweeners, like a Christian Shoemate. When you look at it, that McNeese team, what do they do well, and what does make them difficult?
I think that their size, athletic, 6'2", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", athletic, has been kind of the difference in those two games. I know that I believe Taylor, he played the first game. I don't think he played the second game against us. And we had no answer for him. He just drove to the goal. And then Shoemate was amazing of going back and getting rebounds off of it. So you've got to keep those guys off the boards and make sure you're doing that. And, that's really important for us. You got 30 rebounds out of Larry and Kendall the other day. We need to get 30 out of them, but we need 30 out of the other guys. We can't just depend on Kendall and Larry to go get rebounds. We need 30 rebounds out of the other guys. I hope somebody misses that many shots.
You're right. And then last thing, you've had a lot of success in the Southland Conference tournament. I mean, we talked about the way that you build depth and you build for March. When you actually get there and get on the floor, what are some important things to have success in that sense?
Well, I think the mindset of getting to the tournament to win games. Don't just try to get to a tournament. You get to a tournament to try to win games, and that has to be your mentality that you're trying to win games. And every game starts with that game. If we don't look past that game is the game. My dad used to tell me all the time, you got to beat the. I used to say something about, well, we got this draw. He said, win it all, you got to beat them all. And so, to win it all, you got to beat them all, and you got to take the attitude that you're going to go compete. You're going to play every play, and you're going to coach them up.
Coach Mike, thank you so much.